Hey, it's Pastor John here, responding to text questions that we're getting in from our series Marriage Matters. The questions we're getting in are great. Would encourage you to keep asking questions. You can text them in if you would like, or you can actually post them on our Facebook wall and we'll reply. Here's one of the questions. What do you think of Mark Driscoll's book, Real Marriage? I'm assuming that there's two sides to this question. One is, what do you think of the book, and what do you think of the author? And but I'm gonna focus on the book because that was the question. If that was something else, go ahead and clarify that, and I'll respond to that. But here it is. I think it's the #1 best-selling book on Amazon right now, and you probably can't read this, but this little black bar at the front, it says Advanced Reader's Copy, not for resale or distribution, which means I got this before anyone could buy it. Mark sent it to all the guys in the Acts 29 network for us to look at and to think about, and just as a resource for us to have. He's always giving resources to the pastors in the network to help them, and we get it for free, so it's really a great thing. The question is, what do I think of the book? I think the book is incredibly practical and really, really helpful. If you're married and you're trying to figure it out, you have the big idea of what marriage is about, but when it comes to the nuts and bolts, you're just like, I don't know how to make this work. I think this book is incredibly helpful. There's some really, really insightful things that are offered. Mark and Grace both work together to write it and offer, in a really honest and vulnerable way, share their stories and the things that they've done wrong and how that's caused damage and hurt to their marriage, and how God has brought healing to that, has corrected it, and how they have really learned and grown in many, many ways. So I think it's a great book. I think it's a great resource. The subject that everybody is talking about is the chapter on sex. It's in part 2 of the book. It's chapter 6. It says, Sex, God, Gross, or Gift. This is the most controversial chapter in the whole book, because sex is a controversial thing, not because Mark is writing it, but because sex is a controversial issue. I think for the most part, that chapter is really helpful. I think there are some clarifications that could be made, and Doug Wilson has done a great job, I think, offering some of those critiques through his blog. But I think it's a great book. I actually really appreciate the sections that Grace writes, because it's helpful for a husband to hear a woman writing about issues pertaining to marriage. And so if you're a guy, I think you're going to be that's going to be helpful for you. And I also think it's helpful for the ladies to hear a woman writing about marriage and not just getting the men's perspective on it. So I think it's great. As in all books that have human authors, they're not perfect, and so there's always going to be issues, and so I expect that with every book, whether that's Mark Driscoll or Tim Keller or John Piper or John Calvin. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be issues, but I think it's really, really helpful. I think it'd benefit you to read it, and I hope that you do. So that's what I think about the book. Thanks for asking.